Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Oliver and I'm a master's student in economics at Aalto University in Finland. And on this channel we talk about education and early career development, specifically here in Finland. So if you are new here, do consider subscribing. So during these weekly live Q&A sessions, I answer your most burning questions about studying, living and working in Finland. And how these live streams work is that there's a link to a Google form in the description box below. And if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, please post your questions into the Google form below, because that way I will have all of the questions here in front of me on the computer, and I will be able to go through them in a first come, first served basis. If you post your question into the chat, it will most likely get lost, and I will, because the reason for this is that the chat gets quite busy at times. Before we start actually answering any questions, there are a couple of questions left from last week. I will post the link to the live stream to our Discord server. And if you for some reason are not a member of our Discord server, do consider joining. The idea with the server is to build a community of people who are interested in studying and working in Finland. And on the server, I post updates about upcoming videos and live streams, as well as we have more intimate discussions about all of these different topics, and people help each other with, for example, admission related questions. Cool. Just a second. Let's wait for people to jump on board. Bafina, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. Daniel, awesome to have you here as well. Hopefully you guys are doing well. And let me know if you cannot hear me well. I will adjust the audio levels. But if you're hearing me well, then just maybe give me a thumbs up in the chat so that I know that everything is okay. Hopefully everyone is fine. Hopefully everyone is safe. In Finland, the current COVID situation is unfortunately getting a bit worse. We're basically going up and down and up and down. And of course, that's the situation all around the world. But it's unfortunately happening once again in Finland. We're having our maybe third wave or so. I'm not sure if it's defined as a wave. Mediana, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Young, what's up? Awesome as well. Awesome to have you here as well. Roy, what is up? Welcome back to the stream. Hopefully you guys are safe up there in the north as well. Great. Once again, guys, if you have any questions, just let me know in the Google form. Once again, which is linked in the description box below. We had a couple of questions left from last week, but there's not actually that many questions there right now. So if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, now is a great time to post your question there, because then I will be able to jump to it in just a moment. We also have Harry, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. Awesome to have you here once again. Francesco, welcome back to the stream. And everyone, I do apologize. There is a bit of background noise during this live stream. There is some renovations going on at the office above me, so I do apologize for any drilling sounds. Anyways, the first question for this week actually comes from last week, and the question came from Ashish. Once again, as a reminder, Ashish comes from India, is still in high school, but is interested in doing a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And there is a couple of questions here, so let's take this one by one. So first of all, the first question is, how can I get a scholarship into Aalto University? So this comes up every single week, multiple times per each live stream. So not necessarily how to get a scholarship into Aalto University, but how to get a scholarship into a university in Finland. The answer is basically the same every single time. Scholarships in Finland are granted on a competitive basis, which means that only the best applicants are granted scholarships. There are not enough scholarships for all international students, so you have to take this into account. What determines the points and who gets a scholarship depends on multiple different variables that themselves depend on the university as well as the degree program that you apply to. Harry saying that the background noise is not noticeable. That's good. I'm myself really irritated because I cannot hear my own thoughts. You can hear it right now. Well, hopefully they stop that in a moment. Let's try not to let that stop us or slow us down. But anyway, so going back to what I was saying about scholarships. So basically, every single university has their own scholarship program, and each of them have their own specific requirements and different measurements for them. For example, some schools will ask you to write a motivation letter. Some do not. Some emphasize your academic record, for example, your high school grades or your bachelor's degree grades, while others don't emphasize them that much. Some schools have some kind of an entrance exam or some kind of an aptitude exam that you have to do in order to apply, and those points are then graded or weighted somehow into the total grade that you will get. So it's impossible for me to say what are the minimum requirements for a scholarship for any university in Finland, simply because that is not public information. What I mean with this is that universities in Finland do not have to publicize the minimum requirements for their individual scholarships, which then, on the other hand, means that they will not do it. The second reason is that as I mentioned, the scholarships are granted on a competitive basis, meaning that the minimum points actually vary from year to year. This is because, every year we have a different number of applicants for each university, and the level of the applicants also vary from year to year, meaning that, of course, the minimum requirements to get a scholarship changes with those applicants as well. Long story short, it's impossible for me to say how to get a scholarship. Check out the university pages. They have usually more specific requirements for the scholarship if they want to give some. The second question was actually about the same topic, and it was, does my high school grades determine scholarships? Not on their own, no, but they most likely will impact your scholarship opportunities, at least to some level, when you apply for a bachelor's degree. When you apply for a master's, I highly doubt that they will have any kind of impact. Most likely will not have any impact. But when you apply for a bachelor's, they most likely have some impact, but I'm not sure how much. Then the third question, and how much can I earn part-time in Finland per month? Good question. Unfortunately, I cannot give you any kind of a answer here because it depends on you personally, your personal background, educational background, professional background, so work experience. Do you speak Finnish or English? What kind of jobs you're applying for? How many hours do you work per month? What kind of a field you're in? So there's so many different variables that it's completely impossible for me to give you any kind of a number, unfortunately. However, what I can say here, many people ask me whether or not they can actually support themselves financially by doing part-time work, especially if they have to pay tuition fees. In that case, my answer is no, you cannot support yourself financially in terms of living costs plus tuition fees. If you work part-time, that's not possible. But if you just need to pay for some of your living costs with your part-time job, that is possible. Of course, the further you get in your studies and the more the further you get in your studies and the more work experience you get, the easier it of course gets because you get a higher salary, etc. So always depends on individual cases. Mediana saying a question, insights for upcoming interview questions. I got an invitation for interview for about 30 minutes. School is Metropolia, and we'll be taking up applying for a degree in nursing. Unfortunately, I don't know what kind of questions they will have. Most likely, I cannot give you any concrete examples because I have no prior experience in these kind of interviews. The issue here, the thing that I would be considering here is try to put yourself into the shoes of the interviewers themselves. So consider already that you have already passed the first step, which is your kind of paper filter, or the first filter, meaning that you have already sent your application, most likely your CV, some kind of a motivation letter. They have already accepted you through that first step, meaning that on paper you're good to be admitted. And now they have a group of people. Hey Evgenia, what's up? Welcome to the stream. So basically you have already gone through that first step, and on paper you are already a good applicant. Now they have a big bunch of applicants that are good on paper, and they could in theory let anyone in. However, they have a limited number of spots, and now they have to think about, okay, who of these applicants is the most suitable for us as a school? So you really have to think about how to separate yourself from the pack from the perspective of the school. So maybe I would be thinking about answers to questions like, why do you want to move to Finland? Why do you want to study in Metropolia? Why do you want to move abroad in general, etc. So I would be thinking about motivational questions mostly. They will most likely not focus too much on your professional proficiencies or something like this. Anyways, the next question came from the forum, came from Hannah. From the USA, and Hannah was applying for a master's in agriculture at the University of Helsinki, and this is a pretty long question, so bear with me. Is it true that only highly exceptional applicants with perfect grades and research experience are accepted if they are non-European Union and cannot speak Finnish or Swedish? I looked at past admission statistics from the University of Helsinki, that they published, and it seems that many master's programs have hundreds of applicants for 15 to 20 spots, and only 5 or so of those spots go to English speakers, so non-Finnish people or citizens. If you could address what kind of grades / background you need to have in order to have a competitive application, I would really appreciate it. Thanks in advance. This is a really great, although a really complicated question, so I will have to simplify this quite a bit. So Hannah, you have to consider that first thing that you need to consider is that most master's programs in Finland, in Finnish universities, are in English. So the majority of all master's programs, with some exceptions, are in English. For example, at the Aalto University School of Business, where I'm studying, I think every single one of our master's programs, except those considering business law, are in English. However, our bachelor's programs, many of them are in Finnish still. So this means that you are not only competing for the master's program spots against international people, but also against Finnish nationals who are moving from their bachelor's programs to masters. And what is the difference here between international and Finnish applicants? If we consider that they are put on equal grounds in terms of these spots that each program has. When you are admitted to study a bachelor's program in Finland, for example, when I was admitted to study a degree in business, my bachelor's degree in business at Aalto University, we are automatically also admitted to study a master's degree right after our bachelor's has been done. This means that when I graduated, the same day I graduated as bachelor's, I was able to start my master's courses in a major program or degree program of my choosing. This means that those Finnish people who want to, for example, in your case, apply for a master's in agriculture at the University of Helsinki, most likely already have done their bachelor's program in agriculture in the University of Helsinki, and they're automatically transferred into the master's program. So that might be one of the reasons why they have their spots already reserved, because they do not have to apply to that spots separately. So that might be one of the reasons, or one of the reasons why this might seem a bit twisted. I'm not completely sure about this. I have not heard any university officials tell me this, but this is just, you know, my gut feeling. On the other hand, to your question, you have to consider that the University of Helsinki, to which you are applying and from where you actually saw these statistics, is the #1 ranking research university in Finland, which means that they will have the highest or the most difficult application processes in the entire country, and they have the least amount of spots compared to the per applicant, basically, or, you know, concerning the, when compared to the number of applicants. They're the most wanted university, but also the because they have the most popular degree programs, they also take proportionally less people in than other universities. This is what I'm trying to say. So I think this is the reason. To answer directly to your question, is it true that only highly exceptional applicants with perfect grades and research experience are accepted if they are non-European Union and can't speak Finnish or Swedish? No, that is not true. You can actually get into a Finnish university or University of Applied Sciences with perfectly average or even below average grades. I was never, you know, above average. I've always been completely average in my grades, for example, in high school. So I just had to work really hard on my application. What might make you feel this way is most likely because you have been checking out the statistics from the highest ranking university in Helsinki. The same would of course apply if we were to look at the statistics of Harvard or so. Of course, they're not in the same league, but you get the point. Cool. All right. Sorry, long answer. Hopefully still you guys got some context about this, especially if you're applying for a university in the upcoming round next fall or even this summer. Meanwhile, before I jump into the next question, I just want to welcome everyone who just joined the stream. Welcome back to the stream. If this is the first time you're joining one of these live streams, how these live streams work is that in the description box below, I have a link to a Google form. And if you have a question that you would like me to answer live, if you could please post your question into the Google form, again, in the description box below, because that way I will get the questions here in front of me on the computer, and I will be able to go through them in a first come, first serve basis. If you post your question into the live chat, the chat gets pretty busy and I will most likely miss your question altogether. Yevgenia saying, liking the stream. That's really cool. Like the stream. Of course, if you like it yourself, then I would appreciate a like, pressing the like button, but also it would be awesome to get to 15 likes. We're currently at 7. So if you're getting some value already out of the stream, do gently tap the like button, and that will help me out. Yevgeny also saying, Oliver, is it possible to study additional languages at Aalto University School of Business? Oh yeah, you can study multiple languages. What the first languages that come to mind: Finnish, Swedish, English, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, Italian, Russian, or what else? What are the some other popular languages? French, basically any major European language. What else? Well, at least those, I would guess. I'm sure that there are others. Yeah, definitely you can basically study as many languages as you want. Of course, there's limit to the languages themselves. Sue, what's up? Also awesome to have you here. CNT, the same to you as well. And Tarif, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. Anyway, oh, whoops, excuse me. Just a moment. Sip of water. Oh, that was weird. Cool. The next question comes from Bavia Pafina. Bavia Pafna. Oh god, there's something wrong with my voice today. Pafna, who comes from India and is applying for a master's in information technology at the universities of Tampere and Eastern Finland. And the question is, really want to see some university tours in Finland, especially the University of Eastern Finland. Can't find it anywhere. Yeah, this is actually a really good recommendation. Unfortunately, there are not that many, kind of guided university tour videos anywhere on YouTube or, for example, the university websites. They have these, many of them have these interactive tours or like video compilations, but because there are no YouTubers in Finland that talk about the same topics as I do, there's no one kind of showing around the campuses. The problem currently is that of course, due to COVID, all of the campuses around Finland are closed. So there's no way, for example, for me to access Aalto University or the University of Helsinki. I physically cannot get in because the campuses are locked. So, but my idea has been that once we get rid of the current situation, I would like to travel around Finland and actually film all of the different university campuses that I have not yet done. However, that will take some time because the situation with COVID is not good right now. The next question, by the way, I have to say that's a good recommendation. I will definitely jump on it once we get rid of the COVID situation. The next question comes from Daniel Nicoara, who comes from Spain. And Daniel is applying to Aalto University or at a university in Tampere or any university in Helsinki, but he's interested in doing a bachelor's in the ICT field. And the question is, I was late to apply for a University of Applied Sciences Studies degree in English. Is there any way to apply to study in English? So I guess that the question is there any way for you to apply to study a English taught degree in a University of Applied Sciences before the next application period, which is basically next December or January? Yes, there is. So basically what you can do is you can go to, let me share my screen. So you can go to edunation.co. So hashtag not sponsored. I'm not affiliated with Edunation at all. They just have a good service. So what Edunation is, it's a Finnish company that offers kind of an alternative way to apply to study in Finland. And as it happens, they actually have a faster application process than what is the normal process that we use in Finland. And the only limitation or big limitation here is that you cannot apply to every single university or University of Applied Sciences in Finland through Edunation. Rather, if you go to edunation.co and you go here to study in Finland, you can actually see the full list of their partner universities and universities of applied sciences into which you can apply through Edunation. And you can see that they have different business study programs. For example, in business and management. I'm sorry, you had IT, so sorry, excuse me. Go away. So if you want to study IT or ITC, go here, information technology, choose that. And then from here, you can actually see then bachelor's program and you can compare the different programs that they have. So for example, they have a degree in Metropolia, HAMK, SAMK, as well as TUOS. So you get all the information that you need from here, and as well as how to apply. For example, to Metropolia, you can apply during... Actually, the application process is still open, so you can actually apply to study IT in Metropolia if you apply by the end of this month. So that's really cool. So this is the benefit of Edunation. They have their partner universities organize longer and more frequent application periods than what you have normally when you apply to study in Finland on your own through the studyinfo.fi service. So that's something that is really cool. So I definitely recommend that you do that if you want to apply to study. Cool. The next question comes from Tarif from Bangladesh, and Tarif is applying for a master's in economics. Specifically, there's a couple of universities, University of Oulu, University of Helsinki, and Aalto University. All great choices. The question is, hey Oliver, hey Tarif, what's up? Hope you're doing well. I am actually. Hope you're doing well as well, and hopefully you're staying safe as well. I've got to know that classes are currently being taken online. Does that mean that students will be able to attend classes from abroad? Great question. This depends on the university. Each university has their own guidance on this, and mostly the rules are regarding whether or not you have to be present in Finland physically or not. However, as a general answer, right now, yes, the answer is yes, you can take classes from abroad because the universities in Finland cannot force you to move to Finland, under these circumstances. Plus, the problem is that in many countries, the Finnish embassies are closed right now, which means that you're not able to apply for a residence permit to Finland. This depends on your country. Take that into account. So that is why universities allow you to study online from abroad, at least for now. Hopefully, once we get the vaccinations to work really well, we would get back to normal contact teaching hopefully by September, or so the beginning of next academic year. But of course, we cannot know for sure. Good question. Great question. By the way, guys, I'm soon going to run out of questions, so if you guys have any questions that you would like me to answer live, please post the questions into the Google form, which is linked in the description box below. Then I will have all the questions here in front of me on the computer, and I will be able to answer everyone in a first come, first serve basis. There's only 2 questions left, so if the fastest people get their questions answered first. Just letting everyone know. Cool. The next question comes from Harry Lau from Hong Kong. And Harry is starting school this semester, doing a master's in education. Nice. Awesome. And there's a couple of questions here. So let's go through them one by one. First, I have heard that I can take courses from other Finnish universities. Is this true? Let's see. Actually, the second question applies to the first one, so let's take that as well. If the answer is yes, will the courses taken from the other universities be printed or added into the transcript of my own university? Do you know, and the third question is, do you know whether I can take a minor, i.e. will be shown in the certification when I am studying a master's course in Aalto University or in University of Helsinki? Sure. So Harry, the third question, I'm not completely sure what you mean with it. So do you just simply mean that are you able to take a minor, program on top of your major during your master's degree? Please let me know in the chat. Elaborate a bit more on the third question while I answer the 2 first ones. All right. Anyways, the first question, I have heard that I can take courses from other Finnish universities. Is this true? That is true. That is absolutely true. And how this works is through a system called, what was it called? What was it called? Let's see. Just a moment. I'm blacking out for a moment, but that's fine. Come on. Oh, there. Okay. Cool. Now I got it. All right. So yes, you can take university courses from other universities on top of your own university courses, and what the system that you need to use is called flexible study right, or Joo-opinnot in Finnish, JOO. So the University of Helsinki, I think, explains this really, really well. So all Finnish universities are part of the Flexible Study Right Agreement, which provides graduates and postgraduate students the opportunity to include courses from other Finnish universities in their degrees. Flexible studies are free of charge for students. So for example, if you study at Aalto University, you can then take courses from the University of Helsinki for free. Students need to be enrolled and registered as attending at their home universities in order to be able to be eligible to apply for flexible study rights and complete studies at another university. The one thing that you have to note here that there are, of course, exceptions and there are limitations. So if you are a student at Aalto University, you cannot simply take all of your studies at the University of Helsinki. Rather, you still need to do the majority of courses at Aalto, and for example, your major program studies there, and then you can add on these flexible studies or flexible study courses in for example, in your selective course. In your selective course selection. So there's a number of selective courses that you can take into your degree program. But yeah, so flexible study rights, yes, absolutely you can. And those courses will be counted towards your degree / they will be printed into your certification / what was it, the specific way that you mentioned it, into your transcript. Yes, they will. All right, Harry saying that yes, I mean a minor program in third question. Yes, good question. So that's a great question, and this depends on your actual degree program. So when I'm saying degree program, I mean your major or your major program. So for example, this is a bit confusing term because the way that we have our degree structured in Finland might be a bit different from what you have in your home country. For example, I am studying at this Aalto University School of Business, right? And my degree program is the program in management studies. However, within the program of management studies, so it's the Faculty of Management and the program of management studies. However, within that faculty, my major program is actually entrepreneurship and innovation management. And within that program that I'm studying, I'm able to include a minor program as well. So maybe it's easier to explain in terms of my bachelor's. So I did my bachelor's at the University of Aalto University School of Business. I majored in accounting and administration, business admin, and I had a minor program which I did abroad in Munich. And that was a part of my bachelor's program. So whether or not you can actually take a minor depends on the structure of your overall master's degree program that you're in. I know that there are some programs where the structure doesn't allow you to take a minor. However, for example, in my case, in the School of Business, I don't know of any master's program that does not include a minor. However, in your case, you're going to study education. That's a completely other topic. So it might be that you don't have a minor. What you can do is you can Google Helsinki, the University of Helsinki, or whatever the university is that you're looking for, the University of X, and then the degree program name. For example, master's program in early education and curriculum. And you should be able to actually get the detailed curriculum for the entire program, or at least a structure, and you can see whether or not it has a minor program included. Let me give you an example. Let's see. So for example, if I'm using Aalto School of Business as an example because I know how the web page is structured, so it's easier for me. So for example, here, if I go to the Aalto University web page for the Masters in Economics and Business Administration, you can actually see the curriculum here. And let's see. What does it say? No. Come on. There you go. All right. So, for example, here within the master's program in economics and business administration, we have the major program, we have a minor program, we have elective courses, which is 20 credits, and take into account that one course is usually either 6 or 3 credits. So depending on that, you will take 3 or 4 courses for your electives. And then you have your master's thesis plus the seminar, which is in total 36 credits. So for example, this is the structure that I have in my degree. So yes or so the direct answer to your question is yes and no, and it depends on the actual structure of the degree program that you're applying for. Cool. Hopefully that gave you an answer to the question, plus at least some more practical tips on how to proceed. For anyone who just joined us, welcome to the stream. If this is the first time you're actually watching these live streams, how these live streams work is that I have a Google form linked into the description box below. And if you want your questions answered live, please post your question into the Google form. Don't post your question into the live chat, because I will miss your question if you post it in the chat box. Rather, post it to the Google form below, and I will have all the questions here in front of me on the computer, and I will be able to answer everyone's questions in a first come, first served basis. Harry saying, got it. That means it depends on the program structure, and I need to confirm it with my faculty. Clear enough. Awesome. Great. Good to hear. If you have any further questions, just let me know in the form, and I'd love to elaborate a bit more. Cool. The next question comes from Saad Khan, and Saad is already studying in Oulu, the University of Oulu, doing a master's in molecular biology. And the question is, how many hours in a week should students work during their academic year or during each period? This depends completely on you personally. We had a discussion about this with my girlfriend last evening, and for example, the two of us are completely different people in terms of our study methods. She spends a lot of time with her schoolwork because she's very meticulous. I had a tendency during especially my first years in school, I had a tendency of not studying at all during the period and then cramming everything within the last 2 weeks before the exams, which is a really, really bad way of doing things. So it's the least effective, and you get super stressed. It's completely impossible for me to say here. Depends on your study habits, your ability to internalize the information that you're being taught. It depends on your prior experience on the topic. It depends on the school and how strict or how hard their courses are. It depends on the course. It depends on the professor. It depends on what kind of assignments there are. For example, if the only assignments that you have to do are just for yourself, or you need to do them yourself, and not within a group, it actually might be faster for you to do, personal assignments, because you can, do them as fast as you want. However, if you have to do group assignments, then you might have to spend hours and hours and hours per week just communicating with other people. It's an impossible question for me to answer the question. No one is going to be watching you, watching you and how much you work. No one cares. In Finland, students are completely independent, and if you don't do your job, you will be kicked, you will fail in your courses, and at worst, you will be kicked out of the university. But no one is going to watch over your shoulder and make sure that you do your work. No one cares how many hours you work in school, as long as you get your stuff done and courses passed. It's your business, all fully your business. However, as a general rule of thumb, studying a master's degree in Finland as a full-time student, it is a full-time job. So expect doing school for 8 hours a day during the weekdays, and then you have weekends free. That might be enough for you. For some people, it might be 10 hours a day, full week. For some people, it might be 3 hours a day. For some people, I had a really good friend who unfortunately passed away. He was able to cram all the information into his head from all of the courses by reading the course book once, because he had such a good memory, and he had such such efficient study methods that he basically spent, 5 hours per course, and he was able to memorize everything. But that is completely, unique. So impossible to say. So unfortunately, sorry for not being able to give you an answer here, but it's impossible for me to give you any kind of an answer here because it depends on so many different variables. The second question was, do students pay? Right. So do students pay for their fees from jobs? So or by working a job? So basically, do students in Finland pay for their living cost and, for example, their tuition fee through working part-time? As a general rule of thumb, no. Especially international students, if you need to pay for your tuition fee and you don't get a scholarship, being able to pay for your tuition fee plus your living costs with part-time jobs it's not possible. It's not simply possible because you're not able to accrue enough, income or salary during the year to pay for both your tuition fee and your living costs. So however, if you only need to pay for some of your living costs, like your rent, then it might be possible for you to get a part-time job that pays enough to actually pay for your rent. However, I would warn everyone, getting a part-time job alongside your, getting a part-time job alongside your studies, especially during the first year, is actually in my personal opinion, a really bad idea. Because you have to first get used to the Finnish school system or the university system. You need to get used to what kind of courses there are, what kind of assignments there are, how many hours you actually have to put into the courses. You have to integrate into the society, get to know people. So, and if you get a part-time job during the first year, all of this gets really, really difficult, and it's way easier to burn out. Plus, then, focusing on school is just super, super hard. So I would be very careful when applying for part-time jobs, especially during the first year. This comes from personal experience because I worked almost throughout my school, and it wasn't easy. The next question comes from Sue from China. And by the way, yes, what's up? Welcome to the stream. You're not late at all. Anyways, the next question was from Sue from China. And Sue is applying to do a bachelor's in healthcare. And the question is, what are the top 10 most in-demand jobs in Finland? Great question. I will not give you 10, but I will give you a couple. It's hard for me to give specific jobs, especially because in the IT sector, there's so many different kind of jobs. However, I would say that nurses, developers, so software developers, and then early education teachers are in super, super high demand. So if I give a more general answer, any kind of job that has anything to do with healthcare, any kind of job that has anything to do with, IT and coding, for example, one more could be, for example, data management or big data. So data analysts and this kind of people. So these are very, very, very much in high demand. Of course, there are also other fields as well where they might not be as that high demand or there's no shortage. However, there's still plenty of jobs. So for example, if you do a degree in business, there's plenty of job opportunities for you there. However, if you study history, it might be that you don't have that many opportunities, compared to, having a master's in finance, for example. But yeah, nursing, really, really great. There's as much job, you can work as much you physically can if you get a degree in nursing. So that's one for sure. Cool. The next question comes from Rish from India. And Rish is going to do a master's in business analytics and data science. Well, here's, for example, one example where you have plenty of job opportunities. Business analytics and data science, especially if you learn to use certain data analytics tools really well, or if you study big data. That's, of course, nothing is ever guaranteed, but if you know what you're doing, that's something where you will have plenty of job opportunities, especially as an international student or graduate. Anyway, the Rish is saying, "Moi Oliver, What's up? Welcome. The question is, after getting employed, do foreign students paying taxes receive government benefits the same like Finnish citizens? And I think your channel name should be Road to Finland /Suomi, just a suggestion. That's actually a really great suggestion. The thing is that the name Road to Finland is, or Finland, Road to Finland, or Road to Suomi is already, I'm sorry, the Road to Finnish is, I just happen to have the domain free, and Road to Finland is, you know, a more general topic. I think it would be more suitable, for example, for someone like Alexi, who talks about Finland in more general terms. But yeah, great suggestion anyways. So question, after getting employed, do foreign students paying taxes receive government benefits the same like Finnish citizens? No. Until you get permanent residency and after that a citizenship, you do not get the exact same benefits as Finnish citizens. Unfortunately, I cannot go more into detail about this topic because it's so complicated, and I actually don't know anything that much about it myself. But I do know that, for example, certain financial benefits, governmental financial benefits do not apply to foreign employees, even if they have a degree from Finland. You only get within a certain you only get to enjoy certain, for example, social securities after you have received a citizenship. I think you get some healthcare benefits from having a permanent residency or actually working here. But I'm not quite sure if you enjoy all of the same healthcare benefits, for example, as Finnish citizens. What I would recommend you to do is to go to two websites to check this out. The first one being Kela, K-E-L-A. Kela is the social insurance institution of Finland, and they take care of all of the social safety net stuff, all of the government benefits. And I'm sure that these guys have most of the answers on the website that you're looking for, not the judge you're looking for. And if you're looking for example, answers to social security questions, these are the right people. The second website that I would recommend you to visit and go through is, the Finnish Immigration Service as well. For example, if you look at the permanent residence permits and then look at certain websites under this, you should find at least some of the answers that you're looking for in terms of this question. Cool. Anyways, I hope that at least give you some context. Again, it's a complicated topic, so I do apologize that I'm not able to give you a, concrete, direct answer here. Cool. The next question comes from Chandra from India, and Chandra is applying to do a master's in business management at the Joensuu University of Applied Sciences, if I'm correct. So that's YUMC. And there's a couple of things here. I got an admission offer from YUMC University of Applied Sciences. And how is YUMC? First of all, congratulations. Cheers, man. Cheers. That is absolutely awesome. That's a huge thing. Congratulations on being offered an admission. I have not been to YUMC myself. I don't have any friends from YUMC, but I do know that it's a great school, and I can highly recommend that you accept the offer there. Again, congratulations. That's really big, and I would definitely take the offer unless you have a better one on the table. There was another question on this topic, which was, can I apply for student accommodation in Uvasculla from India before landing to Finland? And any student health insurance you recommend for us? So in terms of the student health insurance, no, I cannot recommend any for you because I don't know the companies that do offer them. Unfortunately, I don't know, for example, any Finnish insurance companies that would sell these international student health insurance packages. So unfortunately, I cannot say anything here. If you Google, however, if I remember correctly, let's see. I think, let's see. I think Aalto University had a couple of links. No. Let's see. Yeah, because I've Googled it before. All right. No, okay. They don't have any of the links any longer on their website. They used to actually have links to specific companies that provide these international insurance packages. No, here actually. Sorry. So go to the Finnish Immigration Services website, so migri.fi/en/insurance, and go to where can I take out acceptable insurances. And here are the recommendations of the Finnish Immigration Service. So any of these should do. And if the Finnish Immigration Service recommends these insurance companies, they should be good and legit. So I would definitely check these out. Great. Was there anything else here? Oh yeah, about the student accommodation. So I would recommend that you check out. You should check out let's see. There are at least 2 pages that you should check out. So there's Kortepohja Student Village, which is in Uvasculla, and so that's, whoops, never mind. It's doesn't work. So Soihtu, that would be one. So that's student apartments for the students of the university. And then KOAS, which is the Central Finland Student Housing Foundation. I would recommend that you check out their apartments as well. And you can and you should apply for the student apartments way before you actually move to Finland. I recommend that you actually chat with the guys from KOAS and ask them how early can you actually apply for the apartments at earliest. Be warned, if you apply for the apartments only after you have come to Finland, you will not be able to get an apartment. It's going to be too late. You have to apply months before if you are allowed. So as early as possible, because if you don't apply for student apartments as early as possible, you will not be getting one. So yeah, definitely check those 2 websites out and apply as soon as possible. Cool. The next question, and actually before we jump into the next question, once again reminding everyone, if you want to have your questions answered, please post your question into the Google form that I have in the description box below. That way I will be able to get answer your questions in a first come, first serve basis. The next question comes from Sue as well. And the question is there a program in Finland for certified registered nurse anesthetics? Great question. I don't know. That's my honest answer. I do not know. I'm not that well aware of the nursing field. One of the reasons is that it's highly regulated and it's very specific. So the information on that field is quite limited, at least in terms of I don't know where to look for the correct information. I've been trying to look into it a bit more recently because it's people ask me about it all the time. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to your question. But I would guess that yes. Again, this is my guess, but I would guess yes. Just try to Google as much as possible. One thing that you can do, actually, if I want to give you, excuse me, if I, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, never mind. Actually, I don't know. Unfortunately, you just have to rely on Google on this one. Ashul, if you want your question answered, please post your question into the Google form that I have in the description box below. If you post your question into the chat, I will miss them because I mostly answer the questions from the form because I get them in front of me here on the computer. So if you want your question answered live, please post your question into the form, and I will get to your question after I've been able to go through everyone else's as well. So these work in a first come first serve basis, so you just have to be patient. The next question comes from Daniil Nicoara once again, and the question is: as a citizen of the European Union, will I have to pay as a citizen of the European Union, will I have to pay tuition fees if I apply through edunation.co? No, you do not have to pay any kind of tuition fees in Finland, no matter which way or where you apply from. The tuition fees are not tied into any kind of agent or application system. They're tied to the universities, and by Finnish law, if you are a citizen of a European Union nation, you do not have to pay any tuition fees in Finland for English-taught undergraduate or graduate degree programs, meaning bachelor's or master's degree programs. Yeah, as simple as that. The next question also comes from Daniil, and the question is: do you know something about the coding school of named Hive in Helsinki? Hive is a really popular coding school, which was formed by or established by the founders of Supercell, which is the one of the leading mobile gaming companies in the world. Actually, it's also Helsinki based. Supercell is behind the games like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Heyday, Boom Beach, etc. And they actually established this coding school called Hive because they recognize that there's not enough coders in Finland and the universities are not able to keep up with the demand. So they made this very practically oriented coding school where into which you can actually get without any kind of coding background. The thing is about Hive, it's been operating for I think a couple of years now. I haven't heard any updates on it in a while. However, the one thing that I do know is that they have a huge amount of applicants each year, and I would say that I would rather look at a university degree rather than Hive. The one reason being that Hive is actually not a accredited university or a institution of higher education. So if you at some point want to work in the ICT industry outside of Finland, Hive might not actually help you, because I'm not that sure how aware of Hive, companies abroad are or outside of Finland are. This means that having an actually certified degree, master's or bachelor's degree in IT from a certified university or a public university in Finland, all of them are certified, is most likely be a better bet for you. Again, this is my personal opinion. I do like the concept. Hive is a really good school. The guys who run it really know what they're doing, but I would still recommend that you prioritize applying for universities or universities of applied sciences. I think that's going to be a better investment in the long term. My opinion, purely. The next question comes from Abdul Khalid. And Abdul comes from India and is starting school this semester, doing a master's in IT at the LUT University. And there's a couple of questions here, so let's go through these one by one. First, I've been admitted once more. I've been admitted to LUT for a master's in software engineering and digital transformation, and I sincerely hope that the situation improves and I'm able to travel to study on the campus. Before we continue, once again, congratulations. It's great to hear this kind of news. Huzzah. That is awesome to hear. I'm sure that we are going to start hearing more similar kind of positive news about people being admitted to study in Finland, especially now that the admission processes are in the last stages. So first of all, congratulations. It's awesome to see, people who are regularly on the channel actually getting admitted. It really warms my heart. So I completely agree with you that hopefully the situation with COVID gets better so that you can actually travel here, because doing university online, it's not the best experience. It doesn't matter if it's Harvard or whatever. Cool. But yeah, cheers. All right. Anyway, to continue the question, but just in case if the COVID situation persists, shall I consider to take my first year of study remotely, or shall I defer my studies to next year? Great question. I would say that I really don't want to give you too heavy recommendations here, because this of course depends on for example you and your financial situation. So are you financially stable enough to move to Finland? Slash, would you prefer, or do you prefer staying in India, where perhaps you might have lower living costs, and that way you could maybe save money during the first year and then move to Finland afterwards? Completely, your depending on what you prefer. Of course, in my opinion, even if the COVID situation persists for, say, to the end of this year, you would still have the latter half of the first academic year, which is spring 2022, left, of course, for studies. And the second that the COVID restrictions are lifted, students are going to go all over the place. They're going to go crazy, and there's going to be parties, and we're going to take back the 2 years that have been robbed from us or from the students. So I definitely recommend that you are here. You should be here for that moment when the restrictions are lifted, because that's going to be something that you will remember forever. So however, timing this might not be easy, and that's why I really don't want to give you any recommendations, because of course you have to buy plane tickets and apply for student apartments already quite early. So it's really difficult to say. But if you have to study online, and then the question is whether to do it online or then just move your first year by 1 year, or taking a gap year, I would say that start your school online. It's better to start with the school than push it forward. That's my honest opinion. No real reasons. It's just how I feel. There was also one more question from Abdul. Also, I understand that there are good opportunities for in the IT field in Finland, and hence, as a foreign student, can I depend on my university placement / department to help me find a suitable job, or could you comment on that, please? Good question. So the university itself most likely will not be able to directly help you. Universities themselves, like for example, your faculty will most likely not help you to find a job. They will not help you to find a job. At least not automatically. However, each university in Finland does have a career service that you can use in order to get your career started. So they basically have a bunch of companies advertising jobs in their career service website. So that's definitely one option. However, what I recommend you to do is to go to my channel and check out. So go to the channel. To my channel and go to the search bar and look for job, and then watch this video. How to find part-time jobs for international students in Finland, 15 tips. This doesn't only apply for part-time jobs. This also applies for full-time jobs, for example, after you graduate. In this video, I go through 15 different ways that you can actually find jobs, including asking your professor for assistant roles, using career services from your university, using different recruitment services that we have in Finland, etc. So I highly recommend that you check this out. As you mentioned, IT sector has a huge amount of deficit in or need for new talented people. So actually finding a part-time job while you're studying is more likely in the IT field compared to any other field in Finland, especially considering that you're going to do your master's. So definitely recommend watching that. That's going to give you more information. Cool. Let's take a super quick break. While I'm taking a break, I'll just take a sip of water so that I don't go crazy. We're currently in 21 likes. It would be awesome to get to 30 likes before we end the stream. And I'll just take a sip of water. And if you guys could gently tap the like button so that we could get to 30 likes before I move to the next one, that would be awesome. So just a second. Let's see, actually, let's jump into the comments for just a second. Let's see if there's any new people here or anyone, any questions. Actually, here's a really interesting one. So Washbar Muti 2 is asking or saying, I've got an impression that student unions are a big thing in Finland. Is that true? And how it is seen in the student life? That's actually true. So student unions are a huge part of your student experience and student life in Finland. Basically, student unions are just an student unions are organizations that take care of the rights of the students, in terms of both in terms of the university and then the public or the social life in Finland in general. And actually, student unions in Finland are very active politically, and they're driving policies in the parliament that are good for students. So that's one part. But the most visible part about student unions in your student life is actually the fact that they organize most of the student parties, different events. Student unions themselves have underneath them, or within student unions, they have huge amounts of different student clubs and other organizations that organize basically 100% of the different events, parties, extracurricular activities that you can do. So student unions are extremely important in Finland, and I would really recommend that you partake in some of their activities. I do have a couple of videos on my channel explaining some of these things. Unfortunately, I was forced to film those inside, so I don't have any kind of nice footage from any kind of student parties because COVID. So, but yeah, student unions are definitely important in Finland. Then we have international relations. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Saying, I hope to apply for a PhD in Finland. Is it free of charge? Yes, PhDs in Finland do not have any tuition fees. Actually, instead, many PhD positions or PhD student positions are actually paid. Not most of them are not paid, but rather you need to apply for funding for your PhD. However, for example, I know that Aalto University and might be that University of Helsinki, because they have quite good funding, private and public funding for the university research programs. They're actually able to help you fund your own PhD studies for, I think, the first year. And after that, you have to get the funding for yourself from different non-profits, unions, and then there's a bunch of different, what are these called? Quick translate. Let's see. There's a lot of different foundations in Finland that actually fund academic research. So you need to apply for their funding for your studies. But yeah, there is no tuition fee for any PhD positions in Finland. That is correct. Absolutely. Cool. All right. Harry saying, agree with Oliver. It depends. For me, I have chosen to defer due to financial situation. So yeah, going back to the previous question about COVID and whether to move to Finland. Just a point to add, if you have started studies online, it cannot be a ground for applying for a residence permit. All right, that's actually a really interesting point. I did not actually know that. Cool, thanks, Harry. Really interesting. Let's see, what else do we have here? Then Rishi saying that for Indian students, it's mostly the night before the exam day when people cramp up everything, especially in engineering colleges. Lol. LOL. Right, so referring to the question about how much do you actually have to study for for your exams. Yeah, of course, this depends on the individual person. During my first year, I did almost the same thing, and I burnt out really badly. So I really recommend that you learn a study method where you can actually split up your schoolwork throughout the different courses. So try to work throughout your courses as evenly as possible. That way, first of all, you learn better, you internalize the information better, and you of course burn out less easily, at least in my opinion. There's also a lot of scientific research about different study methods, and actually talking about this, I've referred to these guys in a couple of other streams, but if you want to learn different study methods and how to become a better student and how to do really well in your courses, I really recommend that you check out Ali Abdal, who is a medical student at Cambridge, and he has excellent videos on different study techniques, and he's a completely normal person. He's not a prodigy, but he has taught himself excellent study methods, and he's done really well in school as well as an entrepreneur. So highly recommended. So Ali Abdal on YouTube, go and subscribe. Cool. All right, let's get back into the form. The next question from the form comes from Dominika, who comes from Germany, and Dominika is going to Dominika has not yet decided whether or not she wants to study in Finland, but is interested in a master's in psychology. The question is, hello, I will start studying psychology soon and would like to work in the HR department in the future. So I would like to have a business-oriented specialization in my master's degree. However, it should obviously have a connection to psychology due to my bachelor's degree. Is that possible in Finland? I was already looking up, but couldn't really find anything like that. Also, is there any demand for such workers in Finland? Thank you a lot already. I'm sorry for the specific question. No worries at all. This is actually a really great question. And Dominika, I'm not actually sure if you're aware, but I actually, before I went full-time on YouTube, I actually worked in recruitment. So I wasn't a recruiter myself. I actually worked as a marketing specialist at a recruitment company, and I worked really closely with our recruiters and HR professionals. So I got a really good insight into the Finnish HR market. So let's actually answer the questions a bit backwards. So first of all, is there any demand for HR professionals with a psychological background? I'm sure that there are. I'm pretty sure that there are. You have to consider that as a career choice, HR in Finland is, for an international person who doesn't speak Finnish, I would recommend that you look at big corporations, international corporations. So, because the reason is that working for smaller companies that have Finnish as their working language, or even if they don't have Finnish as their working language per se, it might be that you still have to, be able to speak Finnish, because you're going to have to communicate with a lot of different applicants, for example. Plus, you need to learn a lot of human resource law that is applied to Finland. However, if you work for a big corporation like Nokia or Google or a big international bank, for example, you might have more opportunities there as a person who doesn't speak Finnish or Swedish. So just take that into account. This doesn't mean that the opportunities are not there. Absolutely not. There are, but you just have to take into account that you have the more and better options in bigger companies. All right. And then to your question about whether or not it's possible to do a master's in business if you have a bachelor's in psychology. That depends. I'm not quite sure. And usually when you apply for a business degree for your master's, the universities say that you have to have an eligible or applicable bachelor's degree or undergraduate degree in order for you to apply. However, they usually don't define what means eligible or applicable. So this means that, for example, if you apply for, let's see, let's see. If you, for example, apply for a, let's see. If you, for example, apply to Aalto University School of Business for a master's program in management and international business, we can actually look at the specific requirements from the website. Do take into account, this is something that a lot of people get wrong. So, for example, you want to do HR, and a lot of people look at the title here and say that, okay, management and international business, that has nothing to do with HR. However, that's not how these work, the degrees in Finland work. So having a degree in management actually includes a lot of HR related stuff, and you can actually, within this program, you can actually major in HR. So you have a degree in management and business, however, you major in HR or human resources. So for example, this would be a perfect program for you. In terms of the application requirements, for example, content of studies, suggested focus areas, human resource management. There you go. So, for example, this would be perfect for you if you want. In addition, you can, for example, minor in strategy work. You can minor in organizational communication. It's very, heavily included in human resources as well. You could, for example, major in human resource management and then minor in international business. That would be perfect for you because then you could work in the HR of an international global organization. So that would be perfect. Let's see. So how to apply, and then we can have to check. Excuse me. Specific. Language requirements, no. Instructions, no. And the application documents for study specific. Blah blah blah. No. All right, I cannot find it here. It should be on this either of these websites, but I cannot find it for some. Oh, no, never mind. All right, here, cool. Yeah, so admission group 2, that would be you. So bachelor's from a higher education from abroad. So you would be in admission group 2. So here's the, program specific application requirements. So this is what I spoke about before. Relevance of previous studies. So you have to read these through. So for example here, to be considered for admission in the business and management program, you must have completed at least 18 credits of studies covering the domains of management or international business or subjects that support those domains. For example, business, communication studies, sociology, social psychology, there you go, educational sciences or political science studies. International internships can be included in the credits. So for example, looking at this, I think that you might be eligible to apply for this management program. Again, it depends, and you have to contact the university for, to ask whether or not your specific degree makes you eligible. However, this is how usually universities describe these program-specific requirements, that you have to have at least X number of credits within certain domains to make you eligible. Again, long answer. Hopefully that gave you at least some context. But I think that you should definitely consider Aalto and applying for the program in international business and management. It would be perfect for you. Cool. The next question comes from Mo Haroon, who comes from the United Arab Emirates. And Mo has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in doing a bachelor's in automotive or motorsport industry. And the question is, where can I study something related to motorsports or automotive industries in Finland, and for free or as cheap as possible? For free, you cannot. Any bachelor's degree in English is going to have tuition fees. Of course, they would also have scholarships. However, I do not know any programs in the motorsport or automotive industries. It's a very specific field. Unfortunately, I do not know this field at all. I'm sorry, I cannot help you with this topic, unfortunately. The next question comes from Chandra. Actually, let's go bit backwards. Mo, if you are interested in looking into this, just Google Bachelor's Automotive or Motorsports Finland, and if there's any degrees, you should find them from Google. Anyways, the next question comes from Chandra from India. And again, there were a couple of questions here from Chandra. First of them was, how will the job market be for UI or web developers in Finland, especially in Uvasculla, as my spouse will get a full-time open work visa, and she's a UI developer back in India. So these kind of jobs are not city specific per se, because you can, for example, work remotely for if you work as a developer. Of course, if you want to work in a location, so at an office, then surely the bigger the city, the more opportunities there are. It's very difficult for me to say what kind of opportunities there are in Uvasculla. I've never lived in the city, so it's hard to say. However, of course, in Finland there is a massive deficit of not web developers, but software developers in general. The one thing that I would mention is that if your spouse wants to work in web development, I have to say that web development is not the most... there is a lot of talented people in web development in Finland. So I would say that if your spouse wants to maximize his... if she wants to maximize her chances of getting a job in Finland in web development, she should make sure that she is proficient in programming languages or frameworks that are not the most common. So the more specialized the programming languages or the frameworks are, the more likely it is that she is going to get a job fast after moving to Finland. As a general rule of thumb, there are jobs, but if you know the basic frameworks and languages, then of course it's going to be way more difficult. The second question was, can I trade in stock markets in Finland on a student visa? My understanding is that yes, you can, as long as you have a bank. If you have a bank account, then you can trade stocks in Finland. However, I'm not a financial expert, so don't take everything with a grain of salt. But in my understanding, you should be able to trade it in stocks if you have a bank in Finland. Of course, if you have an international trading software that you use, then of course I'm sure that you should be able to do it as well. Cool. But yeah, sorry. Some people are sending me messages all over the place. But yeah, sorry. Hopefully, these gave you at least some answers to your questions. Then the next question comes from Angie from Germany, and Angie is applying to the University of Oulu to do a master's in biology. Nice, awesome. And actually, we already got this question. So the question was about student unions. So yeah, already answered that question. And the next one comes from Janil again. And the question is, what are open studies? Cool. Great question. So open university or open studies are courses that you can study at open university. So what is open university? It's basically every single Finnish university has open university courses, meaning that mostly during the summer, but sometimes also during the academic year, they have courses, open courses that are open for anyone. Anyone who wants to, deepen their understanding in a very specific topic, or they want to do a couple of courses, university courses, can apply for those open study or open university courses. They do cost some money, but usually, normal courses from some tens of euros to at maximum like 100 euros. So it's actually not that much. How you can actually find open university courses is, how you can actually find open university courses is simply by Googling open university and then Helsinki or whatever city you're in. And you can see different open university courses. Whoops, let's see. No, sorry. Oh, never mind. You can actually Google this yourself. I'm getting lost here. So basically, you can find open university courses by just Googling them: Open University, Aalto University, or Open University in Helsinki University. And so you can take normal courses that you would take as a student. For example, Economics 101 or Mechanical Engineering something, or Mathematics something, or, Software Development, or Web Development 101. So the course selection varies from year to year. But the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that doing open university courses will not grant you a degree. So even if you do a full degree worth of open university courses, you will not get a university degree from that. Rather, you still need to apply for a university if you actually want to get a degree. So just take this into account. But yeah, that's open university. The next question from the forum comes from Giuseppina. Giuseppina from Italy. Sorry for butchering your name. Giuseppina is applying for a master's in environmental engineering at Aalto University. And the question is, what are the scientific fields of research in which Finland is excellent and competitive with top universities worldwide? Great question. Anything that has to do anything with environmental sciences. So, for example, biotechnologies, for example, inside biology, different biotechnologies, health technologies, financial technology, but then inside environmental engineering, any kind of biomaterials, for example. We're actually doing really well in different space-related sciences and research. In addition, we're doing really well, and Finland is one of the leading countries in AI, so artificial intelligence. For example, in your case, maybe environmental engineering, that could be forest industry and forest research, forest technology, environmental forestry. What else? There's so many. There are so many things. For example, an upcoming field is actually vertical farming, indoor farming, which is a new type of farming, automated farming technology. But in your case, I would say that environmental sciences are in general a really, really big thing for Finland, and especially material sciences in like environmental material sciences. That is we're really, really far. And Finland is one of the leading countries in research in environmental material sciences. So basically alternative materials for plastics, for example. So different kind of composites, especially if they're based on what is this? Cellulose. Cellulose-based composites. Finland is the world leading country in the world in that research. Cool. The next question comes from Daniil again, and the question is it possible to apply to different universities at the same time if I'm not sure which one to choose? Thank you. Yes, it's possible. Depends on when and how you apply. So I have videos about the different application systems that we use in Finland. And it depends how many universities you can apply at the same time, depends on which application method you actually use. I don't want to go into too deep detail in this video because it's super boring and it's actually quite complicated. However, I recommend that you go to the channel and look up this video, how to apply to study in Finland, joint application versus separate application. This video explains everything that you need to know about the two application methods and into how many universities you can apply at the same time when using either of these application methods. So go ahead and check that out. It should explain everything that you need to know. Cool. By the way, guys, we are currently in 29 likes. If we could get one more like into the stream, we could actually get past 30. That would be awesome. Meanwhile, I will answer the next question from the forum. By the way, Mustakin, welcome to the stream. If how these streams work is that I have a description box below in the, there's a Google form link in the description box below. And if you want your question answered live, please post your question into the Google form. Unfortunately, there's already a bunch of questions here, so I will not be able to get to your question this week. But if you post your question into the Google form, I will be able to start with your question in the live stream next week. The next question comes from Rish again, and the question is, what suggestions would you give personally to an introvert guy in opening up and mingling in the university community / society and to do networking in Finland, asking for a friend who's keen to start studies in Finland? That's a really good question, and I'm pretty sure that you don't actually get it from me because you might not see it because I'm doing YouTube videos, but I'm actually a pretty introvert person. I do get along with anyone, basically, no matter what kind of people they are. However, I'm not the person who goes to talk to random people in parties. I usually have to know them beforehand before I go and introduce myself. So I think that I'm the perfect person to give you advice on this. And I would say that unfortunately, in a sense, one of the best ways to do it is simply to go to different student parties. Of course, that's a bit difficult during the COVID times, but once we get rid of it, going into different parties is the best way to do it, especially when getting to know Finnish people. Finnish people, we are, in a sense, a bit funny because we used to loosen up when we have a beer or two. This means that we start opening up and we are more, how do you say, we're more welcoming in a sense to new people. So that would be a good way. Then another great way, especially if you want to form more deeper relations, is to actually participate in different student activities. So not just going into parties as a participant, but actually participating in the organization of different parties, participating in different clubs, no matter whether it's like the chess club or shooting club or skydiving club, which I'm a part of, or a subject club. If, for example, you study finance, there's a financing study club, because when you participate in those clubs as an active member, you actually get to know those people from within your study subject, and you actually get to know them really, really well because you spend a lot of time together organizing a lot of fun events or while organizing activities to your fellow students. I've used these two ways, and I've gotten to know a lot of different people. Unfortunately, when you're doing, for example, group assignments with other students, because I don't think that's the best way to form deep relations. One of the reasons being that depending on the school, of course, for example, at the School of Business, all of us take courses at at different times. So and we only took the same courses with the people that I started school with for the first year, and after that everyone spread around, and because everyone took different majors, and then we some people took a certain course during the first period, and then others took postpone those courses. So the groups start mixing up heavily. So you actually might not spend that much time with the same people. And group assignments are usually, you just focus on the group assignment and you don't really get to know those people really well. So I'd say that, participating in the different student activities and the different student events is definitely the best way to go in long term. Cool. All right, guys, we've been going on for 1.5 hours. I'm actually out of questions in the form. So I think that this would be a great time to end the stream for today. If you got some value out of this video or this stream, once again, I would appreciate if you could hit the like button, because that lets YouTube know that people are actually getting value from these live streams. Also, if you are not subscribed, do consider subscribing to the channel and make sure to put on the notifications, because that's the only way to assure to make sure that you actually get notified when I post new videos. Also, if you're getting value of what I'm doing here on the channel, not just the live streams, but also the videos, I would really appreciate if you guys would consider joining as channel members. So how you can actually do this is by clicking the join button here below the video or in the YouTube channel itself. When you click the join button, you actually get information on the different channel membership levels and all the different perks that come with them. For example, if you are a Kandi level or higher member, you actually get access to our members only live streams, which we do once per month. And because there's not that many members of these levels, we actually get to talk quite a bit more. Those are around 1.5 hours per month. And people actually send me questions beforehand on Discord, and we will be able to go through those personal questions in more depth, while during these normal weekly live streams, I have to be quite concise with my answers. So really would appreciate if you consider joining as a member. If you cannot or if you don't want to, that's fine. I still appreciate you guys hanging out, and I really appreciate your support because you guys allow me to actually work full-time as a YouTuber, which is kind of a dream. Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Of course, there's going to be normal content during the rest of the week, and then the normal weekly video next Tuesday. But if you want to have more questions answered live, then make sure to join the live stream next Thursday, starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern European time. All right, but that's everything for this week. I will see you later.